On this episode of Star Wars Time Show, the dudes will be talking new toys, new games, and new comics. They'll also be getting into some interviews with some current stars from the Mando and the Rise of Skywalker. We're talking John Boyega, Billy D, Carl Weathers, Richard E. Grant. Guess what? He likes the movie. Dominic Monaghan, we know his name. We'll tell you. And then they're going to get into some recapping, some reviewing, some Easter egg hunting in Star Wars Resistance, The Mandalorian, and of course, they'll end with the top 5 Star Wars fan artist features of the week. Cue the music. Welcome back to a brand new episode of the Star Wars Time Show, and it's the prime time. And just in case you missed the Cliff's Notes from last week, we're basically only doing prime times throughout the holidays because we want to chill. No, I mean, in all honesty, how much more content can we make for you all? So get over it. You're still getting 4 videos a week on top of one podcast. I'd say that's pretty good for free. All right, Nick, so before we get into the topics that the dumbass announcer laid out for us, we do have a little PSA for people. Who knows if it will still be up. I don't think Disney quite wanted this to be a public link. Who knows? You never know. But you can now listen to the entire score of Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker because Disney is trying to get awards for it, in particular Best Original Score. So there's a link out there, DisneyStudioAwards.com. We have it on StarWarsTime.com. And like I said, if it's not yanked by the time you're listening, it'll be on the site, and you can listen. And we even threw in some more spoilers by grabbing the track names from Reddit. And why are those spoilers, Nick? Well, a lot of times the track names kind of essentially are the chapter titles for the fucking movie. So
yeah, so like, you know, if you think back to some prequel tracks, you have like Anakin's betrayal and a ton of, you know, titles and stuff like that. It's not always just Duel of Fates, and you know, so there's a ton of names to these things that could be a little revealing. But I will say that I like Disney's move here because, I mean, I think this is confirmed, but this is basically John Williams' last
out.
go.
He's like, rolling. He's setting as the sun sets on Star Wars, the Skywalker saga. So too does it set on John Williams' career.
Yeah, and what better way for this man to go out than to get another, you know, Oscar nomination, another Oscar win?
How many wins does he have? I mean, I'd say he's got to have at least 5, 6.
I mean, he's
7? Nominations, he probably has like 50 or 60.
Let's see. I'm pulling up his IMDb now. Yeah,
that's Nick on the internet.
On the internet here, people. But I mean, the guy's an absolute legend. So let's see. John Williams, 5 Oscar wins. Another. Listen to this. So that's 5 Oscar wins, and then he's got 176 other wins.
Wow.
Like, this is the non-Oscars, and then 318 nominations. So the guy is
318. Oh, I was way off on nominations. 318.
Yeah, I mean,
Jesus.
Basically, you look at his like list. If you go on IMDb,
so Nick,
click
you're
on his
saying
awards,
he's okay at what he does.
He's good. His earliest Oscar nomination. Can you just try to guess a year? Earliest Oscar nomination.
66.
You're close. 68.
I was gonna say 68
for Valley of the Dolls.
I went 66 because Sidious was in my mind.
There you go. Sidious is
Valley of the Dolls. All right. Well, hey,
yeah.
If you want to, hopefully a link's still out there. You can see what you can hear what he's done for The Rise of Skywalker. And you know, if anything, I mean, even you trolls out there, you can't say that John Williams still doesn't produce some of the best parts of anything Star Wars. So you know it's going to be good. Will it win? Probably not, because the Academy is nothing but a bunch of communists. All right, so moving into the first little kind of collector bit for the podcast here, Nick. We've got some new Black Series guys, and this came via our buddies over at the X-Clue Collective, and we got 2 new Black Series reveals in the form of Clone Commander Bly, so yes, another named Clone Commander to the troop, and a jet trooper, a first order jet trooper, I believe. Actually, a first order Sith jet trooper.
Red jet trooper here. I mean, both of these figures look really awesome. I didn't know who Clone Commander Bly was.
I think he's the Felucia guy, right? Is he the one?
He is. He is. Yeah. So he's basically
he guns
the
down
one
the sexy blue girl.
Yes, the blue girl, Ayala Secura. So that was her main, clone commander. Her right hand clone was Bly. But yeah, so those two figures
guy,
look
he
really
almost
cool.
has a whole new kit for these clone commanders, at least helmet wise.
Yeah, his visor drops down.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got 2 pistols along with like a long rifle. He looks pretty cool. I also like the color scheme on him because all the clones kind of
that
had
mustard yellow, sort of a little brown in there, a little poop. He's like poop and pee.
Yeah, he's a little bit like that. He's got to blend in with all of that foliage on Felucia.
Poop and pee. You know right where my head goes. Like, what the fuck is wrong with me anymore? I will say having a 3.5-year-old kind of gets you right back into the potty stuff, potty humor.
Oh, yeah.
But also being a male in general, at least for me, I've never gotten over potty humor or, boob, dick, shit, and fart jokes, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of people make their careers.
All it takes, man. All it takes. So
that's why you got Kevin Smith is a perfect
example
of making a living off of
doing drugs and just having like booby and fart and shit jokes. So, but anyways, if you want to check these dudes out, I believe they're already up for pre-order. At least after Nick threw up the post, they did go up to pre-order. But just head over to Exclude Collective for this stuff, man. excludecollective.com. It'll be on their front page somewhere, or I think Nick has it linked in the post. We will have this cast shell wrapped up in. So
I do indeed.
Spring release, right? March, spring 2020.
Yes, spring 2020, around $21.50 per figure.
Standard pull. I mean, these should be $19.99, but they're starting to go up to the 21 range depending on retailer. All right, dude, so that's it on the toy front, but we do have some information on Star Wars Battlefront 2. There's a new edition out. It's called the Celebration Edition. It came out December 5th, plus some new TROS is coming. New TROS content is coming, the 17th, right?
Yeah, soon after the release of this, you get some new TROS content.
So what's your thought on this Celebration Edition, dude? Just real quick for everyone. If you didn't have anything, it would cost you $40. You get base game, all past and future free updates, 25 hero appearances, legendary appearances, plus more coming, 125 trooper appearances, 100 hero and trooper emotes, and 70 hero and trooper victory. I mean, to me, it sounds like a bunch of jerk-off stuff.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is all the stuff that if you played the game long enough, you could unlock it for free. Or if if you wanted to, you could purchase the in-game currency and unlock all of these. Now, I will say
none of this gets you any boost, though, right? This is all just pure cosmetic.
Cosmetic as it gets. I mean, there are some cool appearances. So just from playing the game, I've unlocked like a Rey, like a what is it? An Acto Rey appearance. I've unlocked some appearances for Count Dooku and a ton of the other hero and villain characters in here. But I will say that I am personally not going to pay the additional $25. Right. So if you're already an owner, you can pay $25 and then get all the free stuff with it. I won't be doing that, but that's because cosmetic appearances don't really mean that much to me. I don't care what the character looks like when I'm playing. All you see is their fucking back anyway, because you're playing in a third person over the shoulder style
I would
game.
think the only reason a cosmetic at this point in my life would mean something to me is if you actually had to earn it to get it, as in you could not just buy it for $25.
Exactly. And there's very few. I mean, like there are some that are like that where it's, complete these specific types of missions and then you can unlock it and you can say like, oh, well, look at this. I did this. It's like an achievement based thing. But all of the other ones, I mean, while they do look cool, they don't actually, do anything or give your character any specific types of powers. It's just, their cape color changes or, in the case of Luke, he has an ROTJ skin. He's got a CLS skin from ESB, he has his base skin. So there's a lot of just different looks to these characters. And really, if it was me telling you what I think you should do, you should probably just buy the base game. You could probably get it now on the cheap, depending on which console you're looking for. I know I've seen the game.
If you can't get it for less than $40, then just fucking buy this deal.
Yeah, exactly. I've seen it as low as $5. So
yeah, there you go.
It's nice.
But then, coming up on the
17th,
17th, we're going to get some TROS stuff, which is going to include new map, new appearances for the heroes, and new reinforcements, more cosmetic shit. So, wah on that one. All right, we got an interesting update on the Star Wars: The Rise of Kylo Ren comic, my friend, which I think is it dropping next week alongside the film? Like, is it going to be a Wednesday comic day release next week?
I think it's going to be.
I think it is.
Yeah, because we talked about this before. The Rise of Kylo Ren is that one series that Matt and I said that, oh yeah, we're going to read this for sure. Now, you can hold us to that or not, but we'll see. Kylo Ren 1-4 mobile store. The release date is December 18th.
Yeah. So it will be. New comic day next Wednesday. But the article, I suggest reading the whole article on StarWars.com if that's the shit you're into. If you like to read, I typically don't, but I do like reading about Star Wars stuff. But out of the article, the thing that I kind of latched onto were the bits on the Knights of Ren, Nick, and Sliney, who's the artist, or Slinny, I don't know how his name is pronounced. Will Sliney. You say tomato, I say tomato. You say potato, he says potato. But anyways, he says, you'll earn an awful lot about the Knights of Ren very, very fast in this book. And basically, Soule, who's the writer, I think when that first page shows up in previews, it's going to land so hard. So that's cool to hear.
It is. It's cool. And we also got a little hint here that all of the Knights of Ren can use the Force to varying
that to me was the most interesting part of this article, because really they framed it as, we're really going to see how Ben was emotionally and what he was like at the turn. I'm like, yeah, great, whatever. It's Ben. We kind of get it. But they did confirm finally, and I'm sure it's been confirmed before, but now it's confirmed in Star Wars timeland. But the Knights of Ren, they can all use the Force, the dark side of it at least, to varying degrees, but they're not as powerful as Jedi or Sith. They do use it when they fight. This I also found interesting, Nick, is that they have a code, like a motorcycle gang, but not elaborate. So they are kind of, when I was reading this, they're almost like, bounty hunters or mercenaries. Wherever the money's at or wherever they can enrich themselves, they'll go regardless if it means taking on a side that they may not typically work with. So Galaxy will give them, and what does it say? Mostly they're just kind of out to live their lives the way they want to live them and take what the Galaxy will give them and eat what the dark side sends. I mean, that's a fucking motto right there, dude.
Yeah. I mean, that is a pretty awesome little
You put that in a fucking jacket, man,
like
a full-on motorcycle jacket.
Dude, I would love to see that if the Knights of Ren walked up onto the the screen in TROS and they had just motorcycle gang jackets, leathers on.
I mean, that's why they all wear helmets now. I mean, they must be on some fucking swoop bikes or something.
It's gonna be
the biker chains, their chicks on the back.
It's gonna be fun. I'm really gonna enjoy these.
I think,
these guys.
and I'll probably be let down just because they shouldn't be the main focus of the story. But I think I'm most interested to see these guys. I really am. I'm sure we'll do some sort of special Rise of Skywalker cast, which you and I probably need to talk about, considering. Actually, yeah, we will need to figure something out. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. But in terms of what I'm really excited for outside just, what is it? What's the whole story outside of the shit I burned my eyes with the fucking leaks? I want to see these guys, and when I see my man Sheev, right?
Yeah, I mean Palpatine, and it's all the dark side characters that we haven't seen yet. Yeah, I mean I want to see the Knights of Ren. I also want to see how they die, because I assume that all of these people are dying. There's no way that a Knight of Ren makes it out of this film alive. And I want to see what Palpatine looks like most off.
Real quick, and I know we can't go on too many tangents, but how do you want them to die? At Rey's hands, Kylo's hands, Ben's hands, Chewie, Poe, Finn?
I want them to be like featured extra deaths. Okay, like
right. So that's why you want featured deaths, not like, oh, they're driving away and boom, they blow up.
Yeah. I want it to be like when you see like there's like a huge battle between two sides and there's like featured people on one side and featured people on the other side. I want to see like, Finn take out the guy with the fucking
Mace Windu,
arm
Jango
gun.
Fett, a la Geonosian Battle Arena.
Exactly. That's exactly how I want to see it. So just like each of the main characters on the good side gets one. So fucking Finn gets one, Poe gets one. Maybe Rey gets one.
Chewie's got to rip some limbs off, or at least do his pile driver from Solo.
Yeah, I mean Chewie gets one for sure. So like all of the big guys on the good side, I feel like should take out one Knight of Ren, and then who knows? I mean, maybe Kylo even gets pissed off at one point and takes out one of them himself. Like he's like earlier in the movie, he's just like,
yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't mind seeing Kylo. Maybe if he does have a turn, he wipes them all out himself in like a second. That would be blah, like a Vader. No, and instead of being medical equipment, it's the Knights of Ren. They just fucking like squish up into little cubes of meat.
I would like that. I think
not
that'd
demented.
be a perfect end
really
to these guys. But yeah, I mean, I agree. These are characters that we've heard about since like pretty early on in TFA. Like we heard Snoke talk about them, and then we just haven't really seen anything about them since then.
Yeah, I'm all for it. I will do this one. I will do it. I promise. Like I am a lore hound, and if it is tied directly to the saga, which you could make an argument, a lot of these comics sort of are, but they're not. Where this is really going to flesh out some shit with this character Ben Kylo that we don't really know. I mean, it's not like we've had a lot of backstory given in the movies, so that's why I'm pumped for this deal. So it's coming up next week. We'll see if I actually get it. I will get it. I mean, it's got to be in digital, so I'll just throw it on my Comixology, and here we go.
Digital release is on the 18th as well, so you'll be all prepared.
All right. Okay, moving on. We have a ton of Mandalorian stuff to talk about, but we're going to get into like some of our weirdo fanboy stuff, and who knows where we're going to go. So we decided, outside of being OCD and keeping all the Mando stuff together, we're going to break out this one quick story that Carl Weathers gave us, not personally. We just sensed it through the Force. But he was talking with, it looks like Games Radar or some other shithead site. They're talking about, obviously, The Mandalorian. I mean, Greef's been a big part of this first season. I mean, he was in episodes 1 and 3, and obviously had that little moment at the end of 3, which hence he'll be back. Plus, we've seen trailer moments confirming that. But they're talking about his character Greef, and Carl's pretty much confirms that Greef's at least going to make it to season 2. Because he goes on to say, I think Greef's backstory is more saved for season 2. But you get some glimpses at Greef and who he is through the stories in the first season. There's some real strong indications that give you some idea of who he is, but we never let on completely. So, Nick, those last two sentences, do they kind of word fuck you a bit in terms of how you could take them?
Yeah, it almost seems like he's trying to hint that
he's a gnome?
maybe Greef is some sort of, either tangentially related to a known character or is a known character in some sort of fashion. I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, somebody with this, the powerful underworld kind of power that he has, the strings that he can pull, I imagine would have some sort of links to characters that we've heard of before. Who knows? Maybe he knows Lando Calrissian.
I was just going to say, maybe he's his fucking brother or cousin or something.
Could be. I mean, he could also be mixed up with the Hutts in some sort of way. I mean, people who fuck around with bounty hunters and Star Wars
I wouldn't say
like,
Greef is a saint. I mean, he's probably a little dirtier and more suspect than even Han Solo. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
You could make the argument that Mando probably has done some shadier shit than Han Solo at this point, but he's kind of had a little change of heart thanks to the kid. But it's just that the way he phrased those last two sentences, you could really take it as he's hitting that. He's someone we may know, or as Nick said with that big words, he's someone that someone we know knows. Or he's literally just saying, I mean, in terms of personality, we're kind of giving you indicators that he's not an asshole, right?
Yeah, I mean, he may have some redemption left in him,
so I mean,
we'll
he could
see.
also just mean that. But I thought it was interesting. I mean, typically if I'm going to post something, it's usually because it interests me and I think there's a take on it that Nick and I could talk about. There's a little peek behind the curtain. So it was that. And, you could take it either way, and I wouldn't be disappointed either way because I've actually really loved what Carl has done with Greef in the 2 episodes we've seen him.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's one of the standout characters, and I wish that we have seen that we see a little bit more of him, or I wish that we have seen a little bit more of him than we have. But he's great, and I really like what he brings to the whole universe. So hopefully he's right. Hopefully season 2 expands on Greef a little bit more. We get a little bit more time with him. Because I think he brought something special to this
cool,
character.
I mean, he's fucking cool. He's Carl Weathers. He's a badass. Let's do it. So all for it. Glad that Greef's making it to season 2, but I think that was kind of a foregone conclusion. I mean, the mains or the recurrings are going to be the poster boys. So Mando, Cara, Greef. IG had his day, but he could always come back. He's just a bot.
Yeah, he's literally could just have his brain put into a new.
And then for season 2, they'll be able to put the child on the poster more than likely, unless some crazy cliffhanger happens, which I wouldn't be surprised. But, anyways, sticking to we're going to call this like our Brothers of Star Wars segment. We're talking about all our homeboys, all the lovely dudes. We started with our man Carl. Now we're moving on to our homeboy Lando. And
Lando Calrissian.
Right, and now we have his full name, and who knows how legit this is, but I'm going to take it because fans are fantastic. So let me kind of explain how we found out his full name. So apparently there's an exhibit somewhere, either online, Galaxy's Edge, who knows. But they had Lando's full costume on a mannequin in display, and he's holding his cane, which we know he's going to have. And on the cane topper, Nick, there's some Arabesh, right? So someone on IG called Endor Express, they deciphered it for us, and apparently it translates to his full name, and it is, as I said in the title, as Lando as it gets, dude. It is Baron Landonus Balthazar Calrissian III. It's like,
it's perfect.
Yes!
Dude. It's perfect. Like, Lando Calrissian, cool name, but like Baron Landonus Balthazar Calrissian III. I mean, that is just about as pimp as you can get. I mean, look at the guy.
If I were to ever have another kid, male or female, I would somehow work this into their name.
Yeah, I know. It's just like have
a girl would be
it
would be Sarah, and then her middle name would be Baron Landonus Balthazar Calrissian III Haywood. I mean, how fucking awesome would that be?
I mean, it's just, I don't know who came. I don't know if this is just some bullshit that like JJ came up with. He's like, let's just, for those really crazy fans out there like us, Endor Express and stuff, like let's put it out there, see if anybody finds it. If they find it, they can have fun with it. Or if this literally came from George, if George was like, hey, by the way, JJ, like this is the last Skywalker saga movie, get it in there that this is Lando's real name.
It's just, it's too good, man. I mean, it's too good. I mean, you never know. Nick's still a little young. He could have a little Nick, and there you go. You don't have to think about it anymore. Just, that's the full name. And then,
Landonus
and then you end with Caminita. So just Baron, his first name would be Baron, and then Landonus Balthazar Calrissian III Caminita.
Exactly.
Too good. I mean, it's just too perfect, which means
great.
it's probably not real, but it's real to us at this point in time. So, we're running with it. If you ever want to get a tattoo of it, let us know. All right, so moving on to our other homeboy, and that is John Boyega. He's been out and about on the talk circuit, obviously, to start promoting some TROS stuff. But today or yesterday or during the circuit, he took some time to shit on TLJ, which would make some of you people happy. I thought it was funny. It took John a little while to kind of let his full opinions be known on The Last Jedi, but I'll kind of let Nick run with what he had to say about it.
Yeah, I mean,
this shit always bums me out, but hey, humans are humans.
Yeah, I mean, people are going to speak their minds, and a lot of a lot of the fandom menace, or a lot of the the TLJ haters at the very least, are coming out and they're like, oh well, contract's over, he's finished filming on TROS, now he can say what he really feels about TLJ. That's kind of the sentiment that's going around today. The haters. So
it's always some deep state shit, right? It's always
exactly. It's like always a conspiracy.
Right. There you go. I told you it expired at 12 noon on the December 10th, 2019.
And here he is. He's out here. But I mean, to kind of sum up what John's thoughts are, and I can see where he
of course,
is
dude, he's a young actor in a huge franchise, and his screen time's reduced. I mean that's why he's pissed. Let's be real.
Yeah. He's essentially said that Finn's part in TLJ is not a huge fan of. So I'll kind of go through a couple of the quotes that he had here. He said, The Force Awakens, I think, was the beginning of something quite solid. The Last Jedi, if I'm being honest, I'd say that was feeling a little bit iffy for me. I didn't necessarily agree with a lot of the choices in that, and that's something that spoke to Mark Hamill, this quote's a little messed up, that I spoke to Mark Hamill a lot about, and we had conversations about it. And it was hard for all of us because we were separated. So essentially what he's saying is he really wished in his mind, but kind of, more in his runtime, that they would have kept the gang together a little bit, instead of separating out Rey, Finn, and Poe
I can't
for TLJ.
Either. I mean, especially as it leads into his second quote, which is more just bashing TLJ essentially and saying, I don't know if we can make up for lost ground in TROS at this point.
Yeah, I mean, he is kind of hearkening back to the original trilogy, and this is what he says.
He's got a point. Because that's how it was sold to us before it all came to be. I mean, when it was named as... at one point in time, Poe wasn't even supposed to make it out of the first act of the movie, but then Oscar lobbied for that. But it was set up as they were the new three. We didn't know who was who yet. I mean, we all kind of had an idea it was going to be Daisy's character. And it didn't quite turn out that way. I mean, it really wasn't even in that way in the first movie.
I mean, so this is what he says. He says, I guess the original Star Wars films... there was much more of a trio feel where it was essentially about Luke's journey, but with Han and Leia, there was a strong dynamic, which I don't know how quickly we're going to be able to establish that long-term dynamic with the Rise of Skywalker. But if it's exploring that dynamic, then that would be cool. So I see what he's getting at, because I mean, in TFA, you did, there are some established relationships between Finn and Poe, between Rey and Finn. Not really too much Rey and Poe.
No, I mean, they do not meet. And I guess that was a Colin Trevorrow ask, was for Rey and Poe to at least meet in TLJ, which we did get. And that's what I'm saying, man. I'm shipping Poe and Rey all day.
Yeah, so I can see what Johnny is saying here, because I do like the dynamic. I mean, I think everybody loves the dynamic that occurred in the original trilogy, but these films just took a different direction.
I'm going through my rewatch because I do it every Skywalker drop, and we just rolled through A New Hope yesterday, and that's where it is established. It is established in Prison Block 2187.
Yep, and they're like, here's our trio. These are the people that we're going to
really
follow through the whole film.
She really does kicking their dicks the moment she meets them.
Literally,
as soon as Luke walks in,
she's
like, you're a fucking pussy. And then Han's like crazy. She's like, you're fucking nuts. You're dumb. Give me your blaster. I'll take care of us.
Yeah. So, at the end of this trilogy, we'll see what happens, because we still do have a full movie to go through. But I mean, I can agree with John on some of this stuff. Like, I do wish that we would have spent a little bit more time with the new trio as a trio. Like, we've never actually seen that, aside from the ending scene
I'd
on
say
the Millennium
if
Falcon.
anything, because, I mean, let's be real. The trio was hardly ever together, even in the old movies. I mean, maybe half of the first movie, if that. like truly together.
You got
the beginning of the movie, just the beginning, and then at the end for like a second, and not even all three of them. And then
I guess it just felt like the dynamic.
I
between
know
those three
exactly.
characters
I'm
was more,
kind of just being the devil's advocate guy, like the super, let's OCD it out here.
Yeah.
Yes, I totally agree. I mean, and TLJ, Finn and Poe maybe should have left if they needed to leave. It could have been Finn, Poe, and Rose. I'm not saying I still like Rose. I'm not a Rose hater. I love Rose, actually. I love all this appreciation Kelly Marie Tran has been getting during these promo circuits. But if you're trying to pitch these three as the embodiment of Han, Luke, and Leia, then of course they needed to do a little bit more than just talk on the radios and plan shit in the background and go to fucking casinos and run away from dumbass looking space beasts.
Yeah, I mean, but maybe that was the plan. Maybe it was always meant that they're kind of more disparate pieces that come together in the end, and we may see that in TROS. Yeah. So,
well, I know we're going to see it. I mean, with all these fucking TV spots at this point, dude, it didn't even matter that we watched or read the leaks, because these 30-second spots, each one probably adds, I would say, 10 to 15 seconds of new footage. And there's literally a scene where you can tell Rey's wanting to go do something by herself, and Finn and Poe and everyone's like, no, we're going with you.
Yeah,
okay,
I mean,
there you go.
I'm trying to shy away from watching all the TV spots because of that, but yeah, it's hard to not watch.
I'm still drawn to it
through.
like a moth to a flame. It's ridiculous.
Eventually, Matt will be incinerated by his
my eyes just gonna be like
spoilers.
So yeah, it's now confirmed that Boyega hates TLJ, Ridley hates TLJ, Hamill hates TLJ. I don't know if they hate it. They definitely took issue with some character choices.
Some of the character choices. Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
But I will also tell you what Boyega hates as well for Finn, and that's Disney+.
Oh shit, man! How about that? So yeah, great little segue there, my friend. So, like I said, Boyega has been quite boisterous, as they say in Radioland. Last week, man, he was definitely hitting the circuit hard, and these ones come from Variety, an interview he did with Variety magazine. But they're basically asking, like, hey, man, Finn ever coming back? What would you do? Would you do this or that? What's the deal with future Star Wars projects? And he pretty much said, in what? You ain't going to Disney Plus me. I was like,
dude,
wow.
That's so fucked. And, like, as soon as Matt put this article out, like, we have our own Slack channel, we communicate. And I wrote to him, I was like, man, I can't believe Boyega just came out and shit on Disney Plus.
That's
like
exactly what that was. I mean, he basically said to Pedro and all them, like, you guys are fucking bootleg.
Yeah, it's like y'all are second fiddle. And look, I get it. Like, these people now, like, I'm kind of leaving Oscar Isaac off to the side here because he had a level of fame before Star Wars that neither John nor Daisy had.
Wasn't even close.
So for John, he's now looking at himself as, I'm a motherfucking movie star. It's like, look at me. I was in Pacific Rim.
I get that. But
I was in
that mentality's like from the 80s and 90s. I mean, anyone does long form TV now. I mean, long form TV's almost better than getting a movie.
And the thing is like, if you look at this content that's out on Disney Plus right now, I mean, granted, a lot of it is stuff that we've either seen before. So there's some new stuff on there, but The Mandalorian is the hottest property on the planet. Like, this thing has had more buzz than Stranger Things. This thing's got more buzz than,
right. It's been spooled up
Game of
more
Thrones.
times than Stranger Things in terms of watches, concurrent this or this or that or this. I mean, who the fuck knows how you measure streaming success outside the damn service breaking? But it's a weird mentality at this point in time to me, because I'd be like, yo, if you're fucking paying me the same as I'd make on a film,
I'll be back.
Right. I mean, they're not chintzing on any production costs. It's like, who cares what medium it's on? Honestly, who cares?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It is a kind of dated
I'm pretty sure
mindset,
Pedro's the fucking bad guy in Wonder Woman, isn't he?
Pedro
like 1980,
was
like the next Wonder Woman
84.
coming out. I'm pretty sure he's the fucking bad guy.
He might be, but I know that he was a main character in the second Kingsman movie, which was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Pedro Pascal is Maxwell Lord in fucking Wonder Woman 1984.
So,
I mean,
there you go. I mean, I don't know. That's why it kind of shocked me. I mean, it's like, damn, Boyega, you already think you're that big, huh? You think you think your dick is that big already in Hollywood that you're just gonna keep landing, you know, 5, 10, maybe $20 million roles, which he'll never get to 20 million. I mean, that's reserved for Tom Cruise, The Rock. Those are the people that command that type of shit.
And I mean,
I love Boyega. I love the guy. I loved him in Pacific Rim Uprising, whatever the fuck it's called. But I tell you right now, the dude does not have the drawl of a Tom Cruise and even an old Arnold, a Dwayne Johnson. Just no way. No.
I mean, he's still a kid, so he's probably, he probably looks at his box offices and he's like, a billion, 700 million or whatever Pacific Rim made, and he's like, I'm a star. I don't need to worry about this small time stuff. But I think eventually it will come back around.
I ain't
to him
getting
and
no
be like,
Disney Plus. I'm watching it though, but I'll stay in the feature films. It's like, Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, but it sounds like out of the three of them, he's the only one who would be willing to come back. But it's contingent on the other two also coming back.
I know, so just to play the poo-poo head here, I mean, it basically sounds like Daisy and Oscar fucking hate Star Wars and never want to be tied to it again. So they are truly Carrie and Harrison.
And yeah. and I think with a property like this and with how much it consumes your life when you're in it, because I can't think of another property where when you get cast in it and you play the role that it consumes you as much as it does. The only thing that I can think of that would be comparable is Harry Potter.
Hey, you talking like in terms of the fallout from being in one of these movies and you're forever that character in millions of people's minds?
Kind of. I mean, not even that though. Like, it is all consuming. Like, when you're filming Harry Potter, you're fucking Harry Potter. When you're outside of Harry Potter, when you're in between movies, you're Harry Potter. When you're done, you're still Harry Potter. Like, there's fallout as well.
Right.
Like, the having to deal with the fandom and having to deal with all of the bullshit that comes your way. But just like, you can't breathe. Like, these people for the last, probably coming up on 6 years.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Have been living and breathing Star Wars for the whole time.
Yeah, they've been doing other shit. I mean, I wouldn't say. I mean, Oscar's done a ton of movies.
Yeah, Oscar has.
Daisy's done
Daisy
one or two,
did a
produced
few.
some shit. That's what I mean.
But
I just think the young ones aren't that busy.
Yeah. But I think that they're just ready to kind of like take the breath, be like, all right, I'm fucking done with Star Wars.
It goes back to the director shuffle. In the end, they're artists, right? So they feel like, this will hold me back. I mean, the homeboy on Walking Dead who played Rick Grimes, I mean, he's probably making $10 million plus a season, but he's like, fuck it, I'm getting tired of this shit. Literally, it's like, I don't want to do this anymore, even though I'm the star. I could command my salary. I'm just done. I want to do other shit. I don't want to live in Atlanta for 6 months a year. So,
and if you want to look at, whether success of a movie indicates success of a career, I mean, this is kind of, a different situation. But the kid who plays Aladdin in the reboot that made over $1 billion worldwide says that he hasn't even gotten it like an audition since that movie came out. Like, Mina Masood.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that because Will Smith was like, "Yo, dude, you good? It'll happen."
Yeah, I mean, it's wildly successful movie, but he
wasn't even bad in it because I had to watch that a lot. Charlie had got one of her little streaks on live action Aladdin when it came out. It's not even like he was a bad actor. He's fucked.
Yeah, I mean, people just Boyega, calm down, buddy. Like, just wait until
let's not burn bridges yet, homeboy, because 3 years from now you could be ending up on straight to film or straight to stream or Blu-ray or whatever it is these days, like our buddy Hayden Christensen.
Yeah, I mean, you may be knocking on the Disney Plus door soon. So why don't you just take a step?
I'd imagine at this point in time, if Disney Plus called Hayden, he would jump out of his fucking seat and be like, "Feats don't fail me now," and run as fast as possible to the studio.
Oh yeah, I mean, also
The guy hasn't
like,
done shit since fucking Loopers or whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah. So it was an interesting move by Boyega, but again, like Matt said, Boyega's been hitting the circuit hard, and he's not
funny,
holding
man.
anything back.
The personality's great. Love the guy. Trust me, love him.
Yeah.
All right, so kind of some negative TROS stuff, negative new Star Wars from the cast. You always got to love that because, as Nick said, it just kind of fans the flames. But hey, if you like it, who gives a shit what the people that don't like it say? Honestly, who gives a fuck? So we'll get into some more positive stuff, and it comes by way of Richard E. Grant, who we know is playing Allegiant General Pride in the movie. We're still not 100% sure what he's going to do, but we'll see. Either way, the guy, at least, I mean, let's be real. I don't think Nick and I are sitting here like some of you expecting and secretly wanting The Rise of Skywalker to be terrible. I'm actually expecting it to be pretty good and wanting it to be phenomenal. So it was great to hear from Richard E. Grant, who is in the movie. So I guess you can say that maybe he's being a shill or something. But last week, the cast got to watch The Rise of Skywalker. Full deal. It's done, ready to roll. And Richard E. Grant, after his screening, basically took to Twitter, did a little face-on video, and gave a little review. And, I mean, the guy was... just the quotes he dropped, like, nothing prepares you for this, or I cheered, I fist pumped the air, I cried. And it just, I don't know, it made me feel good to see this dude, older than me, grown gentleman who's been a fan for 40 years, like myself, and Nick's getting up there. It was just good to see someone react this way. And again, like I said, I know some of you trolls will be spinning it like he's a fucking actor. He can cry on cue. He just wants to sell tickets. Okay, that's fine. But, Nick, I genuinely took it as an honest reaction from Mr. Grant.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at, some quotes that we're going to talk about in a little while, like Richard E. Grant has been a Star Wars fan since he was, a younger man, 40 years since the entire lifetime of the saga. So not only was it probably wish fulfillment for him to be in the movie, but it was also probably wish fulfillment for him to see it in its entirety, and then finally get to see the finality.
Kind of pay off for a long time fan. Saga. I mean, to me, it's as Nick said, he's been invested as a fan, got to work on it. Then when he got to see himself in it finished, it essentially knocked his socks off.
Yeah, and I don't take this as like one, as much as the fandom menace wants you to believe that Star Wars is dying and that this is going to be the lowest grossing Star Wars movie of all time. Like, not even close. Like, this movie has already surpassed pre-orders for TLJ, I believe, and it's on pace to do the same amount, if not more, opening weekend than TFA and TLJ. So, like, let's just get that out of our minds. Like, let's live in reality here. This movie's going to make a lot of money. So they don't, like, he doesn't need to do this to sell tickets. I feel like this is just an honest reaction to something that he is very passionate about.
Yeah, by the way, in Hollywood, actors looking for work, they're always looking for work. They're not going to go on social media for a movie that hasn't even come out yet that they're in and be like, his shit fucking blows, fucking sucks, I fucking hate everybody. I mean, you're never going to get that reaction. I do not believe this guy is bullshitting us.
No, I don't think so either. And I mean,
he's genuinely moved by what he saw. Now, does that mean Matt's going to be the same way? Absolutely not. But it's a concept humanity has forgotten, right, Nick? That opinions are just that. It's mine. It's how I interpret or react to something. It should have no bearing on how you interpret or react to something or feel about something. Yes, as a critic, I will tell you my opinion and suggest things, but that it's still for you to dive in and consume and then form your own. It's just, we can't deal with opinions anymore for some reason. We can't deal with facts either, so who the fuck cares?
But I was happy to see this. I mean, who knows what the movie's going to be like? Richard E. Grant knows how the movie is in his head. Like you were saying, Matt, his opinion is very high.
I mean,
but
by
I thought
default,
it was fun.
if I liked The Last Jedi, there should be no reason I'm not going to love The Rise of Skywalker. I mean, that's just how I'm rolling into it. I did not hate, as much as people want to think I will hate it someday. I'm never going to say it's my favorite Star Wars, absolutely not, but I did not hate it. I came out and I enjoyed it. Nick can attest to it because I texted to him all happy like a little schoolgirl, and he's like, "Fuck you, dude. I don't know. I'm still kind of thinking about this." So
yeah, I mean, Matt was.
I was instantly
TLJ lover
gung
from
ho.
the
Like,
second.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Good stuff. It shocked me
I mean,
when Nick was like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and we've kind of mentioned this multiple times. Like there is no clear, I guess you would say, example of the divisiveness of that movie other than, more evident than me and Matt, because Matt and I are usually aligned on almost fucking everything Star Wars related. There's very few things that we disagree on. So like when we got to TLJ and our responses were very different, we were both like, holy, like it kind of occurred to me in that moment.
It was jarring.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck, man? He's supposed to only like and say what I want him to.
Yeah. I mean, we broke the script, we kind of had to figure things out from there. But I mean, I am under no illusions that I'm going to hate TROS. Like it's not even a thought in my mind. And I'm not like doing this to like psych myself up to say like, you can't hate it. You can't hate this movie. Like there's some people who like literally think that we go in and we just tell ourselves over and over again that you can't hate something. It's just not how it works. Like I'm just genuinely excited for it. And I really think I'm going to enjoy it based off of all the things that we've seen so far in the trailers, all the things that we've heard about, and maybe even a few leaks. So
yeah, I do think though, if you go in with a mentality of I'm going to hate this, you probably will not like it, because the whole time you're going to be fighting yourself like, oh, I should hate this, but I don't really, but I'm going to hate it because I hate it.
Yeah, it's like I'm just going to hate it. That's all. Like it's the only emotion that I will allow myself to have is to hate it. And that's just, it's unhealthy for you as a human being.
Yeah,
like
it's
not
not
even
real life, people. It's not fucking real.
Yeah.
I mean, just enjoy it. Try to just go open mind, watch it, see what happens. If you watch it and you get up and you want to start killing people, then okay, you've got an issue with new Star Wars and you probably should leave. Okay.
Yeah.
Otherwise, exactly. you probably will enjoy it. So Grant went on, Nick. He dropped some more bombs about his review or his first screening of The Rise of Skywalker. And he talked about the film having a massive plot twist, a character twist, in fact, that is 40 years in the making. So here's what he says, and let's get some Nick speculation here. The big character plot twist that I had no idea would be coming. It made total emotional sense and story sense, and I thought that was really smart. And I think that's an incredible thing to take something that began with the first movie in 1977 and 9 movies later reach a conclusion resolution.
Yeah,
so is he talking about a character from Star Wars?
I mean, that is...
Or some sort of thread that, in the grand scheme of things is... But it is, he's saying a character plot twist.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, like, having gone through some of these leaks, like, I mean, Matt and I, or whoever has read them, we know of a twist coming. But the one that I have in my head that I can remember does not necessarily go back to a 1977 character.
You're right. I know exactly what he's talking about.
So
it's dead on. I mean, I can skirt around this without making it clear. But as I kind of write up in the post, Nick, if we do go off of what he's telling us, it's 40 years in the making, so it has to be A New Hope.
Yep.
So characters: Leia, Lando, 3PO, R2, Palpatine, someone from the past we haven't seen before in this trilogy, or the one that just came to mind is, I think, one you might have been thinking about. But that would be the way he's saying, if it makes total emotional sense and story sense. Think about who else from 1977 would be a big twist if they showed up. Maybe we'll just leave it at that. It's not hard to think about. We're only leaving a few characters off of this potential list. Right?
Yeah.
We did say Leia. We did say Lando.
Yeah, we did say Leia.
I'll leave it the hint at this. Again, I don't know. I can't remember this part. They may or may not be dead. They may or may not be dead.
They could be dead.
But, I mean, so, I don't know. I thought that was kind of cool. And at first, when I was going through, I was like, I wonder what he's talking about. But you just sparked my mind. I was like, I'm pretty sure now I know what he's talking about. And I bet that would be cool as hell to see without previous knowledge. But that's knowledge I fucked myself with. So I will proceed to get the gasoline and drink it.
See, I can't remember it. I was only thinking about one because I was like, all right, there's one character plot twist in here that I know about. And I was like, man,
well, who are you speculating on then?
My thought was like, okay, Rey, character plot twist. There is one coming for Rey. Okay. More than likely.
That you think's 40 years in the making.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's what kicks it for me is that it's not really 40 years in the making. You could argue that it could be, that it is kind of a theme alongside of that the entire time.
So you're thinking she could be related to someone from the beginning.
Could be, but related, tangentially related, could be argued as related, I guess is one way to put it. But yeah, I mean,
my best guess would go to this character plot twist will revolve around either Kylo or Rey.
Yeah, I would agree.
And I don't think necessarily they'll be the ones twisting. Clearly, they've already showed the Dark Rey shit. So,
yeah, I mean, Dark Rey. That's actually something that was an interesting reveal to throw out there.
But just like I said, if you go back to my logic from the first movie, who is in that?
Oh, yeah.
Who's around? There's your list. I mean, the living ones are Leia, Lando, 3PO, and you couldn't even really say Lando, to be honest with you. 3PO, R2, Palpatine by way of maybe they said the Emperor and he was just kind of there. We always knew he was there.
Yeah, we knew he was there as a looming figure. And then your only other two characters are Han and Luke.
Right, but they're not around.
The only
so,
ones left,
I mean,
but they're not there. We'll see.
But based on the criteria, I'm still saying it's got to be. It'll deal with the anti-hero and the hero, Rey and Kylo. It's going to happen around their stories, is what I'm saying.
Yes.
It's going to have to involve either the big three from the original, one of them, the droids, or Palpy.
Yeah, I mean it's got to be one of those, and I mean. Who knows? Who knows?
And I definitely have my guess, so people listening, if you want me to give that guess to you, the one that I really think it's going to be, let's continue our little DMs on Instagram. It's been fun. There's slowly but surely this little community is starting to bud and grow within Instagram, and I'm getting more and more DMs, Nick, as you are. I mean, we both kind of comb through the account there, but we get questions now, people commenting on stuff we said on the show, and as I've always said when we close out, that's all that matters to us. We love that shit. We're not here for the money. We're here because we want people to talk to us about Star Wars and enjoy what we talk about with Star Wars, so we can all just riff on this thing called Star Wars and have a good time and maybe yell at each other every once in a while.
A good yell session never hurts.
Yeah, I mean, Nick and I have had it. We haven't had any in quite some time, probably because I quit drinking on the podcast. But there used to be times I get a little testy with the guy. So, but that's what you do when you talk Star Wars. You fucking start to hate people.
The dark side.
Yeah, man.
The dark side.
There's a reason I'm holding the red lightsaber in the logo. There's no doubt about it. So, long story short, Richard E. Grant loves the fucking movie. Cried about it and said that there's a 40-year-in-the-making character plot twist that kind of smacked him in the face, but resonated perfectly emotionally.
It's beautiful.
That's exciting.
That's exactly what I want to hear.
Yeah, it's exciting. All right, so the last little TROS deal, and this is just a quick one out here, a little PSA banger, if you will, but we did get confirmation on Dominic Monaghan's character, remember, Mary, the Hobbit. His name apparently is Beaumont Kin, which is kind of a hoity-toity name for a Star Wars character, in particular one that is mixed up with the Resistance.
Beaumont is definitely not, it's not a Finn or a Poe or a Luke or a Han. Beaumont definitely sounds like a rich person's name. Yeah. So the only thing that could occur to me if we are kind of running with this completely fabricated idea that he may be rich is that he's the kid of somebody who died on the Hosnian system.
Yeah.
You know, he could be a senator's son. He could be, somebody who's wrapped up in a New Republic political family that was wiped out when Hosnian Prime
I don't
was
know why
wiped
you
out
got
in
me on this
TFA.
tangent idea. I think it's because you said Hosnian.
Okay.
But there's a part of me now that I know it can't happen just because of the way they are. But I would have really loved to have seen live action versions of some of Resistance characters. Star Wars Resistance.
Yeah.
Joining the battle at the end here. Because I think I heard, did you hear this? That the Colossus is with them.
I did see that the Colossus is like makes its way into a fight.
But in terms of the cartoon, we really won't find out until 2020. So
after the movie.
I don't know. I don't think they're gonna. Maybe the ship will be in there, but I doubt we'd get like see Kaz's green jacket or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it would have to be. I mean, one, I don't even you can't even consider that fan service because there's a lot of people who are going to be watching.
They would,
TROS
they have
who
no
have
clue.
no idea.
I mean, it would have to be dead on like Rogue One's little cameo for Chopper and the Ghost ship. I'm not saying, but maybe we see, the Fireball or something like that.
Yeah, one of the ships that we know,
or CB is rolling in the charge with BB.
With BB-8.
So,
yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I mean,
like
everybody's
you're
there.
You're saying Hosnian is like, oh, Kaz is from the Hosnian system.
Yeah.
So maybe he knows Beaumont and they'll be fighting together on those Star Destroyers.
Could be. Maybe we hear Beaumont on like a radio. He's on like a holo transceiver and he says, Kaz, where's the Colossus? Or something.
Beaumont and Kazuda, lifelong buddies.
Could be.
Anyways, I just need to kind of get a little more insights into who Dom's playing. I still think he's going to be no more than a Snap Wexley, maybe a quick line or two, but whatever. You got to like JJ that keeps some of his buddies in there, get some little screen time, get some Star Wars immortality. Must be nice.
Agreed.
Well, speaking of Resistance, we're going to transition into our rather brief recap, top moment breakdown of the episode. The most recent one, Nick, was S2E10 Kaz's Curse, which, I mean, honestly, it was another standalone plot deal, not going to lie. Basically no different than the one we talked about last week where Nick and I had our pitchforks out and we were like, fuck you, stupid little kids. This show should have serious plot lines that only fill in the gaps in between TFA, TLJ, and TROS. But, after a while, we're like, you know what? We're fucking assholes. So that's kind of how I went into this episode, Nick. As I could see it was going down the standalone path, I was like, you know what? Just try to enjoy it for what it is. And honestly, it was kind of a fun episode. But before top moments, I'll go ahead and go over the Easter eggs as we always do. And there was 3 of them. Up first, I found a black sun tattoo on the Gorg dealer's arm. All right, so
that's a good catch.
Yeah, black sun. I believe that's the Syndicate Maul took over, right?
Yes.
And then eventually he takes over Crimson Dawn, so on and so forth, as told to us in Solo.
Yes, indeed.
Or was Prince Zizor Black Sun?
Let's see. The Black
Zizor is like your territory, right? Do you even know who the fuck I'm talking about?
I'm gonna look it up right now because I don't. The name itself doesn't occur to me right away.
I'm pretty sure Maul was Black Sun when he did the Mandalore stuff.
Yes, he was. Because I'm looking at it now because they're a part of the Shadow Collective, and the Shadow Collective is linked to all of the dealings that happened with Darth Maul and everything.
It's one of the 5 main Star Wars crime syndicates.
Yes, and they are all kind of. The Shadow Collective was run by Darth Maul.
Got you.
And then all of the individual little kind of, I guess you would say, the gangs under them, formed the Shadow Collective, and the Black Sun was one of them. So
hey, I'll take your word for it.
That's what it seems like that too. I mean, like the Shadow Collective and the Black Sun Syndicate, and then the Crimson Dawn, and all of those are kind of affiliated criminal organizations, I guess you would say.
Got you. So homeboy who now deals Gorgs probably used to be a gangster, so that was kind of neat. I'm pretty sure this was a cheat because I believe the Guavian Death Gang were also featured in the first season of the show. So
I think so.
It definitely broke my own rules, but that's honestly because these episodes are getting quite slim on eggs and references. So we did have the Guavians in there again. Yeah, I mean, just if anything, they're one of the cooler looking random Star Wars species, factions, if you will.
Yeah. Big red helmet with a circle.
Yeah, it always sucked me in TFA, and I've just always been drawn to that. I guess like you, Nick, I like a man in a bucket.
Oh yeah.
And then finally we got Kaz got himself called a Moof Milker, which is a Han Solo special. Use it in TFA, and I believe again in Solo. So
he did. I think he called. He did. He called Chewie a moof.
Yeah, in Solo he calls him a Moof Milker, and then TFA I believe he says it when he's talking about how people have been fucking with the Falcon systems and shit.
Yeah, that Moof Milker when he. Oh yeah, he said it when he was talking about
installed something or.
Yeah, he installed like a something on the hyperdrive. It was a specific thing on the hyperdrive that Rey ends up dismantling.
Yeah, basically she just fucking rips it out like a boss and is like, I got it.
Yeah, she's like, I bypassed the goddamn, I can't remember. She bypassed whatever it was. And by bypass, she means she ripped the motherfucker out.
Yeah, she just tore it up. So anyways, Nick, I know you didn't get to really dive into this episode. I'm not going to say you really missed anything because it didn't quite progress the First Order Resistance plot, but I did have one top moment, and I believe it was a little bit of growth for our buddy Kaz. So if you can tell by the title, Kaz's Curse. He gets cursed by the pirates, and he lets it affect him. I mean, he's already a klutz. His name is Catastrophe. So now the dude's cursed. So clearly it fucks with his head pretty bad. He hits an all-time low on just screwing shit up. But he talks to Mika, who's a character we met a few episodes back. She gives him this little charm. I wanted to run with it being a Japor snippet again, but I just didn't think it is. And long story short, he thinks the charm helps him. He loses a charm. He realizes he lost the charm. But then he's like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not a dumbass. I'm not cursed. I'm Kaz. And once he does that, he takes control of the fireball and literally wipes out basically a whole squadron of Guavians who are trying to take out the other aces and the Colossus, saves multiple aces with his piloting skills, and essentially allows the Colossus to get through this asteroid field so it can hit hyperspace and get the hell out of Dodge because they were going through Guavian space, which is why shit kind of hit the fan.
I mean,
so it's
nice.
He finally believed in himself, and when he did it, Nick, he was flying like a Poe Dameron.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was going to say is that he always struggled with self-confidence in a way. Like, Kaz, when we met him, had a bravado about himself, but it was kind of quickly dashed. Like, he came onto the Colossus in Season 1. He's like, I'm a fucking New Republic pilot. I can take all of these aces in a race, no problem. And then literally within the first episode, he's, like, bumped down to, like, you're second-tier mechanic. You're only on this station because you were given a chance to do this by the Resistance and by Poe. And then since then, he's been slowly building up his confidence again.
Right.
So to see an episode where he's basically at an all-time low in his confidence because of this curse that was put on him, and then for him to shake it off and come through in a tough spot, it's really good. And I hope that this is a turning point for him, for himself, not necessarily for the character.
Yeah, I mean, he's still probably going to trip this or break something here or there. But I don't know. I hope it's less of a focus on Dolty Boy, and he's always the dummy. And maybe, you know what? Hey, Kaz is a pretty badass if he just kind of puts his mind to it. So I did like that. I kind of had a feeling this Mika character would do something like this for Kaz. I mean, she was the one that pretty much told him, like, listen, a curse's power is totally reliant on the person who is cursed and how much they believe in it. Exactly. She kind of gave him the talisman thing to give him something to focus on, but she knew what she was doing, so I thought that was kind of fun. But in the end, you know, it just showed that Kaz can be a Star Wars hero. He just has an odd way of getting there, and sometimes a silly way and a klutzy way. But it's Kaz's way, and that's why we love the guy. So, as I said, standalone plot type of episode, but because of Kaz's journey here and how he started, they really made him just a complete doofus in this one. And then he snapped out of it and, like I said, channeled his boy Poe, and just he saved the day. I mean, without Kaz, Bo was going to get wiped, Tor was going to get wiped. I mean, he just really took to that flight stick and kicked some ass. So it kind of redeemed the episode in the end.
Yeah, he got back to his roots as a legit New Republic pilot, which, you know, it's good to see him back on that.
He's good at it. He just got to focus sometimes. So, all right, excuse me. Moving on. Still have that AIDS, my friends. Moving on to The Mandalorian, everyone's favorite topic in Star Wars these days. So last week we got S1E5. It was called The Gunslinger. Before we get into our little Easter egg recap and top moment spiel, though, I just want to put something out there to make sure you've put 2 and 2 together like I did. I did release a video for it, so those of you diehards like Rust Belt Collector, Apollo Ape that check this shit out, appreciate it. Thank you. But we finally now know the name of the Bounty Hunter Guild planet, Nick, and it is Navarro. And we get that yes. By way of Fennec Shand as she's kind of trying to play Toro against Mando there at the end. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. It's nice that, at least for someone like me that's a freak and needs to know this type of shit so he can sleep at night, we do now know at least that planet's name is Navarro.
5 episodes in, we finally got it.
More than halfway through the season, we get that. All right, so first up, as we get into Gunslinger, we're going to start with the eggs, and then we'll kind of get in and do our little powwow, talk about our top moments, and then obviously we're going to focus on that ending because I went ahead and created another video. This episode of The Mandalorian, by the way, my friends, got 4 videos instead of just 2, so it definitely got me thinking. But, buddy, let's get into the eggs real quick. It was a Filoni episode. So there was a fuck ton of Easter eggs and Star Wars references. And I missed the big one. I'm going to get out and own it now. People have already let me know in the comments. Yes, I missed the fucking high ground mention like a dope.
Yeah, the high.
I'm sorry. For some reason, these obvious ones are just going right over my head.
And before we jump into the officials that Matt has on the list here, I want to put out one that my buddy Phil, loyal listener to the show and a diehard Star Wars fan. He's one of the originals. Just like
I mean, he was there like when we first made the switch.
Oh yeah, like Phil has been with us forever. But he called out one egg that's not a Star Wars reference, but it is a reference to Top Gun, and it's in the beginning of the episode when Mando's flying away from the other bounty hunters trying to catch him. He pulls the like stall in midair and let the guy pass him up and shoot him down. And that is exactly what happens in the beginning of Top Gun. Got you. So
someone also mentioned that is a comic book moment where Boba Fett does the same move to IG-88.
Look at that.
Dude, they're all over it now, which I love. What that means to me, people are watching, they're engaged with the content, and they're throwing their 2 cents in. Now, some, obviously, let me know I'm fucking stupid and all that. That's fine, too. But it's letting me know that people are starting to watch our content a little bit. And derive something out of it, at least to get angry enough to leave a comment or enjoy it enough to leave a comment. That's fine.
Exactly.
All right, so there are 24 of these, not to mention the 2 we just dropped. So we're going to go somewhat quick through these. Some may warrant more discussion than others, but right off the top, obviously we had a self-reference already to the show when that one bounty hunter asshole used our buddy's line, bring you in hot or cold.
Yep.
Here's a big one here. This is like, Jesus Christ. I mean, it could have been 3 within just this sequence, but we learn early on he's going the Mos Eisley, which is on Tatooine, and he literally flies right by the ridge where Kenobi's talking shit about scum and villainy and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, basically, a good way to wrap these eggs up is like, we're on Tatooine, expect a lot of shit.
Right.
Like,
I mean, it was a Filoni episode, and he did episode 1. That one also had over 20. He does episode 5 over 20. Other ones 3 to 5. So you can tell the dude knows his shit. Around. He knows his eggs. He knows how to drop little things that are going to get fans all moist down south. Still continuing on with our Tatooine adventure, he lands in the same style of hangar as the Falcon. It wasn't docking bay 94, but it was the same type of docking bay. in that docking bay, we had some pit droids who we first met with Watto. Pally the mechanic, fantastic character, by the way. Carbon scoring line, something we heard.
A lot of carbon scoring there.
Heard Luke throw that to R2, which implies things have been shot out with laser guns. She's seen playing Sabacc, which is a game we know. That's how Han got the Falcon. All right, Nick, do you feel me on this one? Did Baby Yoda make a Crate Dragon yell, or am I fucking hearing shit?
I think you were. It definitely sounded familiar. Now, for those of you who don't know what a Crate Dragon yell is,
this would be even like pre-special edit now, because I think now he's he goes like, oh.
It's like a weird. It's overdubbed with some sort of weird sound, but this is like Matt mentioned, this is pre Blu-ray edit.
He just would go like.
This is when, it was like a very shrill kind of yell, and it's when Obi-Wan Kenobi finds Luke out there.
He's trying to scare off
the
sand people.
The sand, and he's like, it's just does this yell, and it scares him away. It's a Crate Dragon yell.
Dude, I watched it 3 or 4 times. Like
whatever.
The motherfucker's doing it, or that's just like his holy shit. My bucket head guy's gone, and that's just his yell, and it echoed in the Razor. I don't know, but I ran with it. It's on the list. It fucking exists. Moving on, we saw a Treadwell droid as Mando's walking into Chalum's Cantina, which is the next one. Fucking Chalum's Cantina is there. We're gonna talk about that because I thought it was. I loved how Filoni visualized it. Now is hilarious. A lot of irony in that scene. The droid running the cantina looked just like EV9D9 from Jabba's Palace. The one that kind of checks in R2 and C-3PO.
We could use a protocol droid.
Exactly.
Yep.
I'm going with that was straight up R5D4 in the motherfucking bar.
It could be,
just like him. He had the blue prong mixed in with the reds. We know he probably got left on Tatooine because the Jawas were like, fuck you, your motivator sucks, so I'm running with it.
And all he needed was, to get it, replaced.
Yep.
And then he'd be back up and running.
Now he's a fucking drunk. Toro, the new character we met, is sitting in Han's booth.
When they sat like that, I was like, wow, Filoni is going
just dead on, dude.
And
the thing is, that the beauty of it, it goes over the heads of pretty much everybody but people like us.
Yeah,
like the
nobody
hardcore fans, people that listen to Star Wars time on a regular basis. Yes, you guys are spotting it. I'm talking like just your casual viewer, my wife, my daughter, even my dad, who's loved Star Wars as long as me. But it's just that's the magic of Filoni. I mean, he's in Han's booth, sitting just like Han and McClunky.
Yeah, it was
we get while he's talking to Mando, we get a Dune C mention. We get a Hutt Cartel mention. Toro, he needs to go get some speeder bikes. He brings in swoop bikes that look damn near identical to Anakin's, but they're not quite identical, but close enough.
Yep.
They mentioned Corellia.
Saw that in Solo.
We get to see Tusken Raiders, which I fucking love that scene. Dude, I loved it.
I was going to say, dude, that scene was really cool because really the only other time that I can remember that Tusken Raiders are given any sort of, mention.
They're not just treated like animals.
Yeah, it's that, and then if you play the storyline through correctly with them in Knights of the Old Republic, because you can actually get it to where like you become friends with the Tusken Raiders.
Yeah, so
and, like,
clearly Mando's buddies with these people, and I really like that exchange. I mean, it's slightly humorous, but also added a little bit to that faction in Star Wars, which I thought was a nice touch. I mean, just Filoni, please, Filoni, more Filoni.
Let the guy give him a live action.
Yeah, I mean,
you're looking for a director,
do film,
Kathleen,
series, whatever. I mean, keep him going. All right, up next, Toro using the exact same style of binocs that Luke uses in Empire Strikes Back, except they're painted black. Dewback. It's pretty hard to miss. Yep. I loved the Twin Sons references and how they were super subtle. There's no like, they didn't even really show the Twin Sons visually. They just, the first time I heard it, Toro's like, oh, hey, I'll let you know when the suns go down. And then Fennec also said, hey, the suns are coming up. I loved it. It was great little just kind of in-universe nods. We don't need to visually reference it, but people talking about it, fans will get it.
again, very easy to overlook that. If it was another director, you could literally just say son and nobody would care.
Exactly.
Like there would be people like we would catch it, but that just goes to show you Filoni is A game. He's right there.
The Navarro planet, obviously another self-mention. This is a Mando egg itself already. Gotta love that.
Yep.
Mando says she's not good to us dead. Clearly a nod to he's no good to me dead.
Yep.
Boba's line from ESB. We get a Mos Espa mention from Fennec. That's the spaceport from TPM and AOTC. And then finally, Beggar's Canyon also gets a mention, which also we've heard in A New Hope and The Phantom Menace. We get to see it. That's where they pod race. In particular, That's where Aura Singh is hanging out, checking out the action. So 24 solid eggs and references, dude. As solid as they get. You had prequels, originals, just lovely stuff.
And I will say that, the one thing that people say about this episode, and, you could look at it a positive way or a negative way. Most of the people who are saying this or citing it are saying it in a negative way. Is that it relied too heavily on established things. So like all of these Easter eggs and stuff like that, we love them, but it seemed like some people took them in a negative way. Like Filoni was relying too heavily on what we already knew about Star Wars and stuff like that.
But again, just goes back to what we were saying. All the shit we're talking about is just random crap, mostly in the background. Like it had nothing to do with the story.
Yeah, they get
motherfucking
pissed off
Star Wars fans. What do you want, people? What the fuck do you want? If it's not the old shit, you're pissed. If it's the new shit, you're even more pissed. What the fuck do you want? Honestly, what the fuck do you want? How many more times can I say fuck?
But, overall, I liked all these things. I watched this episode, and every one of I may not have caught all of the ones that Matt brought up here. Let me scroll down and see if there was anything that I missed that you caught here. The Twin Sons one was a good catch because I didn't actually process that because I just I heard it and I was like, okay, they're talking about the sons.
Yeah, man, I don't watch the show like a normal person at all. I watch this show fucking 3 times on the day it comes out.
Yeah, Mos Espa, I caught that one, but I couldn't remember if I caught it because of Star Wars: The Old Republic or because of the prequels. I knew it was associated with one of those, but I just didn't remember which one it was associated with. I didn't catch R5 in there. I didn't catch that
motherfucker. That was one of the first major shots.
I know. It's just it didn't even, again, I saw it and it didn't even.
Well, yeah, you're watching it like a normal person. You're just trying to enjoy the show and see what happens with the story. That's what I mean, you people should feel bad for me. My first fucking viewing of brand new Mando each week is done taking notes, pausing, writing shit down, and not really getting to just watch it flow. My second viewing's even worse because now I'm taking screenshots of the whole episode. So I'm really not even paying attention. In fact, I'm just worried about getting screenshots for the shit I want to talk about in the Easter egg video and in the recap and review. And then finally, Friday night, after I've seen it twice, maybe had a few beers, I get to watch it again where I can just actually sit there and relax and watch it like a normal person would watch TV. So anyways, Nick, let's just kind of get in the episode, right?
Yep.
Overall, I loved it. Again, I go back to my F rant back there. I don't get, what could you hate about The Mandalorian at this point? If you hate it, you're fucking stupid. And honestly, just stop watching Star Wars. It's not healthy. It was a really good episode, and it wasn't good just because of the Easter eggs. I liked the little side adventure. I liked meeting this Toro guy. So I enjoyed it. I still think episode 3 is the best to me. But in terms of top moments, dude, just going chronologically, I loved opening with that dogfight. It was a great frenetic opening. I loved his maneuver. I loved the do when he pulls it off, fucking Mando, and then it kicks to the title. It was one of the better opening sequences before, we got the logo splash.
Yeah, right into the action. I like it.
Again, maybe we'll find out why Mando has such hate and disdain for droids. But I loved as soon as he saw those little fucking pit droids coming towards his ship, he
droids.
starts shooting at them.
Yeah, I mean, he immediately, like, he shoots at him, then Peli comes out and chills him out and everything like that, but then right after, he's like, no droids.
Yeah, so there's like, something,
no droids.
And I think Nick probably said this. Were you the one saying it's probably because of the Clone Wars and droids essentially killing his family, or is that the voice in my head?
I think we may have talked about that on an episode previously.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's sometimes I don't know if it's the voice that talks to me sometimes in my mind, or if it's something we've said or I've read it. But yeah, that would make sense that, if you're a little 8, 9, 10-year-old kid and you're locked in a box and then a big B2 battle droid fucking opens it and gets ready to blow your face off, you may not like droids. But there's something there, and trust me, we'll find out for sure. But he's shit on droids in pretty much every episode to date.
Yeah, pretty much.
Clearly, the return to Chalam's Cantina.
I mean, that whole sequence was just nostalgia laden, and like there was no way.
So where did your head go to first when he walked into the bar? Where were you like, wow?
I mean, the bar itself for me, because it's the same. I mean, like you said, it's.
Were you amazed? Thing, like, wow, look how empty it is, or where's the band? What's going on? Because to me, instantly, I was like, holy shit, they got rid of their no droids policy. Fuck, it's ran by droids now, and there's motherfucking droids in there hanging out.
Dude, that didn't even occur to me.
Think about the first time we were introduced to this bar. What's the first line?
Droids.
Hey,
yeah,
their kind's not allowed in here.
Yep, your droids.
Yeah,
they gotta go.
So I think this was all done on purpose by Filoni. Like, look. Fucking Chalam or whoever the bartender, they're gone now. Droids can come in. Shit, droids can fucking work here.
Yeah. I think that for me, I was just so caught up in the fact that we were there again that I was just like a kid. Like, I was just like smiling real big, and I was like, oh man, this is really fucking cool. And then really after that moment, the first thing that I noticed was the bartender, like you mentioned, the droid from Jabba's palace. And like, everything after that, like all the subsequent moments, like sitting in the booth and all of the little things about the cantina that you remember. And it's just
it would have been nice to have Mando just waste Toro right there from the Greedo spot.
Just I was kind of expecting it too, like
and
the way that they were sitting. I was like, oh my god. That would have been the perfect cherry on top, because we all know that was originally supposed to be.
That's the George to Dave force bond right there. Like, George is like, listen, Dave, you're my homie. I can't do shit anymore. Star Wars, I signed all my rights away. I can't even talk shit about it. Can you get McClunky into the Mandalorian?
Yeah. Just give me a McClunky, and that's it.
That'll validate my last change. And he's doing like that evil doer finger tap, like, ha 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 ha. No, I mean, the whole cantina was like nostalgia bomb after nostalgia bomb. I mean, nostalgia boners, if you will. It was great. I mean, but to me, I couldn't get past the irony that now this bar was ran by droids, or at least attended by droids, and that literally R5 is in there hanging out, getting bombed all day long because his motivator's still fucked up.
It's perfect, dude. Like, that's the kind of shit. And if George likes anything new Star Wars, this episode would be it. Like,
you would hope George is feeling the Mando. I think he is, considering his de facto Star Wars son is in charge of a lot of it. So, I think he's probably down. All right, next moment again. If I get ahead of any of yours, just jump in. But back to the egg. I loved the Sand People negotiation. I mean, to me, it looked like...
I thought it was really fun.
Mandalorian was given fucking MLB signs to steal home. I mean, that's what it looked
I know.
Like. He's like... Tap,
like
tap.
He was using, like his hand going over the other hand, and then, like, walking motions.
He looked like some fucking fat dude in a baseball uniform in the pros, tapping his dick, swatting his knee, and patting his belly for, all right, you can have the binocs if we can cross your land. I mean, that's pretty much what he was dealing. I love the way the Sand People were kind of humanized. They weren't just portrayed as these brainless animal people. I love that the Mando knew their way. He knew how to communicate with them, and he knew how to deal with them. It was just,
yeah. I mean,
it shows you. I mean, the Mando is essentially a Swiss Army knife of a person for the Star Wars galaxy.
That's exactly what I was going to bring up. Is that this character, this Mando, not only is a well-seasoned bounty hunter, as we know, but like he has taken the time to learn and say, like, most bounty hunters would just fucking blast some Tusken Raiders, move past them, not worry about it.
And you know what Skywalkers would do to them.
Yeah, cut them up into pieces, cry about
Babies,
the sand.
women, and all of them. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, every one. But it was cool to see that, like, he has taken the time to learn about them at least a little bit. Like, I thought it was a really cool character trait for him. So yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, I know a lot of people are making the jokes. There's no lore in here. There's no Mando lore. It's Baby Yoda. I'm like, there's all sorts of lore for this fucking character. I mean, those flashbacks alone are lore. Just when we learn this is the way, that's lore for this character. Like what are you talking about? There's no lore for this guy. Knowing that he can communicate with Tusken Raiders, that's lore. That's all character building. That's why I love that shit. It could be. It's like a throwaway scene for some people, but that to me is like that's a standout moment.
It's like literally the first time that you see anybody communicating with the Tusken
I know.
Raider.
I also liked how they kind of ninja surprised them too. I mean, they were focused down there. It was the same trick they did to Luke, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they had people in the distance with the banthas, and then you had kind of the scouts coming
right there on the side. Yep. Well played moment.
Next top moment here, I liked their speeder sniper dash. Essentially, that's the nighttime roll.
I love that one, just because I thought it was really creative the way that they used the flares. They knew that she was going to be using some sort of like night vision goggles to see him.
Again, so goes back to the Mando's knowledge of all things Star Wars, everything.
And it like in this kind of continues the trend as well of Mando getting fucking blasted all the time. Yep. Like the Mando, we've never seen a Star Wars hero that gets beat up nearly as much as this dude does. Like he's gotten beat, shot, or something in I think every episode.
Oh, he's at least been shot in every episode. Episode 2, he was almost killed.
Yeah, I mean,
3 he would have been killed.
Yep. I mean, I'm pretty sure he got dinged there. And then in episode 4
I'm pretty sure he got shot. He got punched around a little bit.
And then he takes a fucking sniper shot from Fennec Shand right in the chest.
Oh, multiple shots. Like, I mean, we didn't even talk about when they find the dude back. I mean, he gets shot in the back. He gets fucking shot in the chest. And she's about to blow his head off until, Toro finally gets his ass up there. I guess, what'd you think about Toro? Toro Calican.
I thought he was first off, he looks familiar.
I know,
as
dude.
an
I still
actor.
can't figure out where the fuck he comes from.
I mean, like, we just need to IMDb it and figure it out, but he looks familiar, and I know I've seen him in something before. I like him as a character because it is further used to establish the mindset of bounty hunters and like would-be bounty hunters, like wannabe bounty hunters.
Their only loyalty is to their reputation.
Exactly. Like, this is a guy, Toro is a dude who is literally completely relying on the Mando to make his bones, like to do what he needs to do.
He does everything for him. I mean, does everything for him. And
as soon as he gets a whiff, like, oh, I can like flip this over and then
more rep. I mean, again, Bondi didn't care to Toro, and that's why I love Fennec. I hope she truly isn't dead. I don't think she is. But I love that she knew. I mean, she's so skilled herself in the ways of killing and all the dark arts, if you will, that go along with being an assassin, that she knew that this young kid bounty hunter, all that really mattered to him was the rep.
Yeah.
How big can I puff out my chest? So she knew if she lined out this other scenario, like, okay, I could work him over. I don't think she was anticipating on him blowing her away. So he wasn't that big of a fucking dope.
Yeah, no, he knew that the second he uncuffed her that she was going to just kill him.
Do you think she's gone?
So, I mean, I don't see a reason to bring her back is the big thing, unless, it's a gut shot, so of course she could survive. And soon we will be getting into this.
Yeah, and that's my final top moment. But we're just gonna go ahead and spin right into my theory post. And the top moment is the end. This is the first time this season we've gotten something like this where it literally looked like the episode was over. I mean, every episode has ended with essentially the Mando flying off, finishing something, touching Baby Yoda's finger. But this is the first time Mando's adventure kind of ended, and then, here's a little it was almost like a stinger, right? An MCU deal.
Yeah.
Where you hear this clickety-clank, some spurs walking towards Fennec's body. This dark figure bends over. It clearly has a cape. It's got some boots, and then boom. So, clearly a great moment. An interesting moment, an intriguing moment, and one, like I said, it got me to do a little theory post, Nick. So, did the video. It's out there. You can always get our videos on youtube.com/Star Wars Time Show, or just go to starwarstime.net and get the shit there. But 5 theories. 5 theories, essentially 5 characters. Who could that person have been? We'll start with the one that the internet is running with, and they want. I think that this is the fan favorite and probably the most unlikely for various reasons, although some of my reasons has kind of changed since I talked about this, because I do think this character could actually enhance the character of the Mandalorian himself, and that is, drumroll, Boba ass Fett.
Yeah. I mean, this is what everybody's been wanting since the Mandalorian was announced. I mean, we see a guy in a Mando helmet.
I mean, honestly, Nick, the Mandalorian is essentially the byproduct of the Fett movie never coming to be.
Yeah, I mean, this is, this whole show is essentially fan service provided to you by Jon Favreau. But like Boba Fett is one of those characters that saw a resurrection in the old EU Legends novels, and then people really want to see him back in new canon. And it makes sense to bring him back in the show because there's no place for him in the movies now. Like, you can't shoehorn him into episode 9 all of a sudden and then say, like, Boba's back. Right. This is the most obvious place to do it. It makes perfect sense.
And being on Tatooine, I mean, that's the last known location of Mr. Boba.
Yeah. So my only issue with this is I kind of agree with the way that you put it in the post. I know that you've kind of come around a little bit.
On the first point, the second point, absolutely not. So, yeah, I mean, I know it's a fucking talk show. We're sitting here as if you can read the shit we're looking at. But here, my first spin was like, I don't think the show needs Boba. More or less, his inclusion could take away from the lore being told about our new hero. But I've kind of flipped on that because I do believe if Boba became a recurring antagonist for Mando, not even just this season, but carried throughout the life of the show, that would really bring a fun and intriguing aspect to both characters. And as I've kind of pitched in some of the comments when people are telling me I'm fucking dumb, the Mando's lore could get very enhanced if he's the one that takes out Boba like a boss or something like that.
I totally agree there. Okay. Like, I don't think that the story around Mando would be
right. I fucked up on that. I'll admit that. But
by that,
what I am going to stick to, if you are going to bring Boba back, you're almost going to have to dedicate a full fucking episode of The Mandalorian to a not Mandalorian just to explain to people like Nick and I some legit fucking backstory on how he got out of the pit. And I'm not talking like, just go read the books. That shit ain't real anymore, my friends.
Yeah,
we deal in canon over on the Star Wars Time Show, period. So I appreciate the comments and the theories, but that shit doesn't exist yet. In the world of The Mandalorian, for all we know, Boba Fett is fucking dead.
Yeah, I mean, we can't rely on legends anymore. We have to go, with what's out there. And to my knowledge, there hasn't been a novel written that brings him back yet, and there's nothing in the comic books either.
Not in canon. Apparently, there's a story out there where Boba gets spat out. Like, he spat out because of the Beskar or whatever. He was indigestible.
Yeah.
So that's out there somewhere. It's not canon to my knowledge. Actually, I know it's not canon. But that's what they're riffing on. And I'm not shitting on that idea. If they want to make that canon, they best do it through the show.
Yeah, you have to introduce it via the show or somewhere, where people can see it in an actual canon novel, comic book show, whatever. I guess my only issue with bringing Boba in, and this kind of will harken back to something that JJ said when he was filming TFA. I feel like if you bring him in now, especially, he takes over the whole show. Like, Boba then becomes the main.
And that's like the point I was trying to make about how he could take away from the lore building of Mando. I just probably didn't say it the right way. But that's exactly it. I mean, he would suck the air out.
Yeah, like, you would have too many people who want more episodes focused on him, who want more time dedicated to Boba and not the Mandalorian, right. Like, not the main character. And like you said in the second half, like, we were under the impression that we were going to get 45, 50-minute episodes before this show released. We get 30 to 35. Right. So if you bring in Boba Fett, one of the most popular characters in Star Wars lore, it is impossible to have him there and also have the Mando there and give both characters the time needed. So I agree with you on the episode length and it being difficult to manage if Boba.
They'd have to burn a full episode just to explain how Boba got to this point.
Exactly.
Period. That's it. Like we no baby Yodas, no fucking Mandos. The episode would literally be him getting puked out of the pit and then suffering for whatever 5 years until we see him probably having either a fob of Fennec or maybe he's just tracking old school, this other Mandalorian he heard about going nuts on Navarro.
And I mean, if you guys want a reference to what would be needed, just think about when Darth Maul was reintroduced to us
Jesus
in
Christ.
Clone
I mean,
Wars.
It took 2 cartoon series just to get him back in the live-action movies.
Yeah, I mean, the reintroduction of Darth Maul was like a whole subsection of a series. Yeah. Like, in Clone Wars, we literally have a whole episode, at least.
Oh, dude, there's full-on arc dedicated to Maul's return, Maul linking up with Savage, and then it continues into
the Shadow
Rebels
Collective
and so
and
on
everything
and so
like
forth.
that. Yeah, I mean, it's a task. Like, you can't just bring back one of these iconic characters with no explanation behind it.
Right.
At least
in my opinion. That's my
opinion.
biggest knock. Yes, Boba wore spurs and all this shit, and yes, he could change his boots. I get that. So that was my first guess.
Season 2, I think, would be the better place to bring. If you're going to bring him in, introduce him up front and allow a whole season where you could develop him. That's what I'll say on Boba.
In the end, give me a fucking Boba episode if you're going to do it. No bullshit. He does not just come back. That cannot be allowed. All right, up next, apparently this guy is from the books, and they're the Aftermath books, which makes them canon. I'm talking about Cobb Vanth. So a little backstory here. He's a human sheriff of sorts that protects a free town on Tatooine, and he scores himself some Mando armor via Jawas. I think there's some theories that maybe they found Boba's armor in the desert after the pit puked it up, and he kind of took it over and essentially used it to be a sheriff and was a good guy. But this is another one where it's like, okay, you might be able to get away with a Cobb Vanth in name, but since he is canon, but in a book, he would deserve some sort of attention.
Yeah, it's... One, I don't think that this character probably doesn't need to be introduced into the show for a couple of reasons. I would see him, if he's actually coming in here and he's going to be playing the same Cobb Vanth, sheriff,
it's
lawman, essentially.
He has no point in being in the show because the show does not revolve around Tatooine.
It doesn't. Like, he would have no reason to pursue the Mando off-world, which he's already off-world. And there's no benefit to bringing in another person that is going to be following him, especially this person. So I mean, I can see where it came from. I can see like how this is now associated with this, mystery character. But I just don't think that this is, if you're going to bring him into live action, I don't think this is the place to do it.
That's what happens with speculation and theory crafting, buddy. You just throw some shit out there and hope something sticks, and usually nothing does, but still love doing it. Next one here is kind of a throwaway, but you just kind of have to account for it because we do know this is happening, but it could just been another bounty hunter had her puck or is tracking Mando because of the baby and just following fucking do-back tracks. But I doubt it. A common bounty hunter is not going to get this special scene. We saw what common bounty hunters get in episode 4, and that is shot in the back by Cara Dune.
Yeah. There's no way that they have a whole tease for just some dude.
Sticking with bounty hunters, it could be Greef.
Could be.
His coat's kind of long. Don't know if he's got spurs, but he could definitely be tracking Fennec.
And he's probably also tracking Mando.
Right.
I mean, a lot of these people out here, not only, could be after Fennec Shand for sure. The puck's out there for her, but there is a massive price on the Mandalorian's head, not only from the Empire, but also from the Bounty Hunters Guild. He literally killed a ton of people in the fucking Bounty Hunters Guild. So not only you have the Empire,
Fennec wasn't bullshitting Toro. She was feeding him these lines for her own purposes, but she wasn't bullshitting him.
Yeah,
exactly. He completely went against the guild and fucked Greef's life up. So Greef would have motivation for getting back, but I still think he's probably a good guy. All right, and the last but not least, and the one that it probably is, people, I hate to burst all your bubbles, but it's probably Giancarlo Esposito, a.k.a. Moff Gideon.
Yeah, this is, and look, I'm 95% here because Moff Gideon is a character that's established in, the lore surrounding the show. He hasn't been introduced to us yet. We've seen him a lot in previews. We know that he is a part of the Imperial Remnant.
Motherfucker's got a TIE fighter and at least a squadron of death troopers at his disposal.
Oh, yeah. And we know he whips a cape, as you very cleverly put in the video. The motherfucker whips a cape, and we see a cape. And we also know that the Imperial Remnant wants the Mandalorian dead. And we also know that Fennec Shand is a former Imperial assassin.
Right.
This it all lines up perfectly for this character.
A lot of dots introduction with Gideon.
Yeah,
a lot of dots.
Yes. And then Moff Gideon was set up as a character who was going to be a primary antagonist, or foil to the Mandalorian. And we're going to go into episode 6, and he's not even here yet.
I think the past 2 weeks we've been like, this is it. Gus Fring's fucking coming up, and then nothing.
And we've been wrong every time.
Nothing. At least we nailed the Cara Dune episode, but Gus is hanging back, man. He's still trying to get that other half of his face fixed up. So, but that's who I'm going with, and there's a good chance we learn this mystery this week in episode 6. So, if it is Gideon, I do think we will learn that mystery this week. If it's not Gideon and it's the dude in green, then they may kind of try to draw this mystery out, which would work. And it would give Nick his, maybe push it to season 2. It would give Matt possibly his half episode, full episode, reintroducing Boba to the world. But it's more than likely Moff Gideon. So that kind of wraps our theories on that little surprise ending to the Mandalorian S1 E5, the gunslinger. Do you think the title was referring to the guy at the end as the gunslinger?
Could be. Shit. Because the Mando didn't sling too many guns.
Toro definitely wasn't a gunslinger. Was Fennec the gunslinger? I don't
know. Mando got the one. He got the one shot that counted. So,
it was fun, though. It was something I knew when I saw it. I knew my day would be long, but I do enjoy doing this shit. So it is what it is. Plus, we've gotten decent reaction to this video. So thanks to those of you who've been commenting, liking, rating, reviewing, subscribing, passing, sharing, doing.
One thing that I will say that I didn't like about this episode right before we get into top 5 was that fight with Fennec and Toro at the top of that mountain.
Too dark.
Was so motherfucking dark. I couldn't see what was happening.
Yeah, when you were, again, sometimes we peel the cover back. Nick earlier was like, oh man, that shit was like Game of Thrones fucking dark. It's like, dude, whatever. It's like the end scene. But now that you're reminding me, yeah, there was a pretty key fight scene where you just saw, and it didn't help that they're both wearing fucking black.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
all you can really see are their fucking heads and then stuff whipping by in the dark.
Yeah, you can't see shit. Like, I was totally, I loved the scene where it was in the dark. They're on the speeders. They got the flares flying. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, the real dark screen works great for that.
Yeah, but then when you get into a fight with two of your, your episode
He's
featured
fucking
characters.
just as bad as Game of Thrones. What the fuck? These dark screens. Gotta turn up my brightness.
Dude, I was hot. I was like, Jesus,
never
man.
know,
like, how does this shit keep happening?
It's not too hard to figure out what's going to trigger me, but you never know what could trigger Nick. So I thought
Dude,
it was funny. I was
like,
laughing when he was texting. He's like, man, fucking screen's so dark, Game of Thrones, fuck. It's like,
I was, because, like, I've been struggling.
Why?
Like,
dude, I honestly thought you were just talking about the bonus scene. I was like, well,
no.
What are you talking about? There's fucking cape and feet. Who cares? But now you're right.
No,
you're
not
right.
that
The fight scene was pretty bad.
I was like, wow, what the hell's going on here? But
That's that same fucking director of cinematography or photography from Game of Thrones.
Could have been. He's like, it's your TV. It's like, fuck you, guy.
Fuck you and your TV. So yeah.
How about you use some lore and say that the moon was full? Some shit. Like, what the hell?
Oh man. Yep. Nick
right,
hates
anyway.
dark scenery. All right, so
do.
that takes us to the final segment of the Primetime Show, which you all know what it is. Those of you just strapping in now, shame on you. You should have been here for the past how many hours we've been going. But we're here. It's time for the top 5 Instagram Star Wars fan artist features of the week. I lined them up all week long thanks to people using the Star Wars Time Show hashtag on Instagram or tagging at Star Wars Time Show on IG, just in case they're the same platform. All right, so lined them up. Nick picked his top 5. And boy, Nick, there are some people really lobbying for you to choose them these days. I don't know how much you dive into DMs, but I get a lot of the woe is me, like, man, maybe Nick will pick this one. I'm like, hey, I'm the one that I'm propping all you people up, getting you into the feature list. I have nothing to do with the top 5. Start hitting up at that Nick C on Instagram.
Yes, I just made my Instagram public too.
There you go. Start hitting up at
so
that
it's
Nick C instead of Haywood Pop and all this other stuff for getting into the top 5. I love you all. Nick's the tough one to please.
I will say that I believe we have 2 brand new top 5 members this week.
Smart.
So it's not like, and I call them out every week we do top 5. I say this is new top 5.
You got to add
this
new
is
every
top
week,
5,
man, because
so.
in the end, it's smart for us because it could be another listener to add.
Exactly. I mean, I do it, like I said, I don't look at the names when I pick the pictures. If you've ever looked at an Instagram feed on desktop, you can't see shit. So I just go through, I click on the ones I like, and then that's
I
it.
bet you've seen enough now. You're probably starting to pick out people's shots just based on.
Oh
your
yeah,
work.
like there's a couple that I already have probably 3 shots because I was going through, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be a good one for next week because we run Friday to Friday on the top 5, and I saw a couple come through over the weekend where I was like, ooh, that's a killer, that's a good one, and I knew who they were as soon as I saw them too. So I'm not giving any spoilers for next week's top 5, but you may see some familiar names. But this week, we do have some returning top 5 members. We do have some new top 5 members. So let's just jump into it. Also, I'd like to say that we've crossed the 2,000 follower mark on Instagram. I think we actually did that a couple weeks ago. That is, thank you all to all 2,000 of you that are following. Thank you for interacting.
And
for
thank you,
DMing,
Instagram, for not
messaging.
burying our account yet.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
you've done to at Haywood Pop, you fucking scumbag.
I mean, apparently we're still in the good graces of the IG gods. Hopefully, the algorithm will
these
be
days
forever
we're
in our
rolling
favor.
like a continuous 800 to 1,000 profile visits every 5 days or whatever.
It's beautiful. So,
My account,
yes.
100, and I have
just
almost 4,000 followers.
I just don't understand
my
how
count's
it works sometimes. Dude.
As dead as it's gonna get now. I don't bitch about it anymore. It's just like, who fucking cares? I still get some names that leave very nice comments. That keeps me going. Fuck it. It's over. I have shots at this point that I know should be getting close to 1,000. Fuck it. I'll say it. I don't fucking care anymore. I'm a narcissist. I'm an asshole, whatever you want to call it. I know, just based on other people's shots that I've seen reach certain numbers, that I have work that should be there too. It's just never going to fucking happen. And so what? Took me a while, but I'm over it.
Quality shots from Haywood Pop. Let's never forget that. But we're on the Star Wars Time Show. We're looking at the top 5.
Remember,
and
I'm not allowed to do it, and I do appreciate you that say self-feature. It's very nice, but it's never going to happen. Nick would literally have to go on my account, find one, and slide it in.
Yeah, I mean, like we've done in the past, too. If we have, like, a particularly light show, not like this week, I will bring in a shot from Matt, have him kind of break down his setup and the way he
how big of a jerk-off
would
would I have to be, honestly, to feature my own shots
your own shot
on an account I pretty much run? I mean,
yeah, no, I completely agree that would be a little bit of
I feel like such
of a masturbatory feel to it. But I mean, you do have legit good insights to give to a lot of these people out here who are starting to do their photography, who are into their photography and they're looking to level their game up. You have a lot of good knowledge and a lot of good insights. So I don't want to bury your stuff or, make it seem like you're some kind of oaf that just takes pictures with a fucking point and shoot.
Like I said, on those certain shows, or if you slide one in there and want to get my thoughts on it, fine. But I'm never going to just put my own shit up there. It ain't going to happen.
Yeah. But we got some good shit out here. First up by SWTS_Wild Wing. He's been on the top 5 before. I said that, maybe the SWT came from us, the Star Wars time, but I don't think it is.
SWPS, he's joining the SWT army for sure. I mean, he's in there.
There we go.
He's in there with Greg and the gang, usually commenting, saying he loves the show, promotes it in his story. So he's definitely in the club, if you will.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And I mean, he puts himself in the top 5 here with a spot-on excellent shot of a jet trooper, a first-order jet trooper.
Just the fucking pose,
TROS.
That's what did it for me.
Yeah, I know. That's exactly, because I feel like it's easy to throw a figure in the air, like have a figure that's suspended in the air and just like, oh, look, he's flying. But the way that Wild Wing was able to pose this guy really sold the fact that this motherfucker's got a jetpack on his back and he's flying through the air. So I really do love the pose here. The atmosphere in the background is really cool. The lighting of the gun is also pretty awesome. All around, this was a really, action-oriented fun shot.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's got, I'd call it perfect framing. I'm trying to see the rule of 3. I can do it now. I can see the grid. I mean, it looks like his helmet and gun are right there in one of the crosshairs. So that just means you're going to be naturally drawn to that, which accentuates the pose, as Nick said. Nick, I can even tell you, it's not easy to even make these things look shitty and fly. Getting these things on wires or hanging it, however you want to do it, and actually getting them to settle in the pose you want in your image it's difficult. So it's even more impressive when you can get them looking like they're flying and they actually look like they're in a flying pose. It looks like he's almost just lunging towards someone like, I'm going to fucking shoot your face.
Yeah, like he's coming in hot at whoever it may be, Finn, Poe, Rey, that whole boat of them that we've seen in the trailers. But I thought this was an excellent shot.
They can
by
fly
Wild Wing,
now?
so.
Are they fly now?
They can fly now.
Yeah.
The more that I think about that line, the way that Poe says it at the end, I can buy that he knows, and he's just like, they can fly now. Yeah, I know. I've seen them before.
That's how you're
but
taking
anyway,
it. You're not going to be like,
Those fucking idiots.
There's
been people flying in Star Wars since the dawn of time. Burn the mouse. Kill Kathy. Sacrifice JJ. Cut out their hearts.
Can't do it. I can't get on that bus with those guys. But
it is a cult, man.
I can't get on the
cult.
But
anyways, back to our
cult.
buddy. I think that he's a Germany buddy. And speaking of Germany, they're our second highest listening country on Spotify.
Yeah, on Spotify.
I'll tell you what, Greg Bird, our buddy, like #1 fan, he took that to heart. He's like, yo, where are the fucking iTunes numbers? Australia better be #1. I was like, dude, it probably is, but iTunes analytics is god awful.
Brother, yeah.
I can't tell you. He's like, well, then fuck it. I'm switching to Spotify, and I'm going to change that next year. That's the type of shit we like.
Oh, yeah.
Greg.
Listen, man.
Star Wars Black Series 2019. That's my boy.
He's a good guy. We've been trying to get legit iTunes stuff for a while, and it's never going to happen. iTunes is impossible, motherfucker. But SWTBS_Wild on Instagram. It's a fantastic shot. Make sure to give this guy a follow and like his shit. There's good ones on there. Next up is a new top 5 entry here, and it's from Ryan Smallman on Instagram.
Yeah, I think
this guy has quite a following.
Legit artist, by the way. I don't know if you looked at his following count, but
yes, I do.
I don't know if he's worked for Disney or something, but I mean, this guy, pretty damn impressive following, and the picture you're about to talk about is also pretty slick. Oh, this is. I mean, he's 14. I thought we were talking about another one. Either way, impressive following base. But he's an illustrator.
I mean, he's an illustrator, and he does
cool shit.
I mean, he does a lot of cool shit. His first language is definitely not English. I think it's Portuguese from what I'm seeing, but I could be wrong. But he just whipped up a fantastic representation of Baby Yoda. And what's really cool about this, and what really makes it stand out, is instead of having your typical egg kind of, carrier, he worked that into the Mando helmet. So you have Baby Yoda sitting in the Mandalorian helmet with it pulled back to look like his typical
that's
kind of egg carrier.
Sells it. I mean, again, tat fucking 2.
I'm
always like, oh, what a cool tattoo that no one's. There you go. I should literally fucking print this off, take it down to somewhere, and get it done.
Yeah, I mean, this is.
Is that even legal?
Can
you take someone's art and then get it tattooed on yourself?
On your body? Yeah, because you're not selling it. Like the only way that it would be illegal is if you took the art and you tried to sell it in some sort of way.
Like fucking Buffalo Billed yourself and tried to sell your skin, you'd be fucked.
Yeah, exactly. But no, you could rip this right off of IG, go get a tattoo, and post it to Ryan Smallman.
That perfectly captures what this season of The Mandalorian has been.
It really does, dude. It's
Baby Yoda has gotten in the head of the Mando.
Yeah. I mean, perfect fucking job here. So, at Ryan Smallman, SMALLMAN on Instagram.
Yeah, it looks like he does a lot of stuff in the geek space. A lot of Marvel stuff. More Marvel than Star Wars, I'd say.
Yeah, Marvel. You got a little bit of Joker there. He's got some Kylo and Rey stuff too. But this guy is an absolutely fantastic artist. So very well done.
Good stuff there.
Next up is a first-time Star Wars time top 5.
I thought Master Luck's been in here.
I don't think he has. Jedi Master Luck. I mean, we've definitely featured his shots on the feed before.
Real name, Lewis Luck.
Yes, and this is just a character that I've kind of grown fond of through playing Fallen Order. I mean, I know that Matt and I kind of went on a rail session against the game last week, even though we both enjoy it, but the technical glitches and all of that. But the second sister is a really standout character, mostly because of how menacing she looks. I mean, the way that character was designed by Respawn is absolutely perfect. I mean, they take the Inquisitor-style lightsaber that we see in Star Wars Rebels, they implement that into a badass female villain, and then they give her a pretty cool backstory. I mean, I'm still not finished the game yet. I'm just kind of getting to the second go-round on Kashyyyk, but I've learned a lot about her. She's a really badass character, and like I said, she just looks menacing. And Jedi Master Luck, Lewis Luck, really captures that here in this image. The way that he has the lightsaber extended, the way that she's positioned, it looks like she is literally walking towards you, about to cut your head off. So
yeah, it's badass. I mean, what initially drew me to this, he's using that Nova Revol ubiquitous motherfucking diorama. First off, I'm always impressed when people use it and they haven't smashed it. Mind you, I don't know if people remember this saga, but I had one. It sat in a box for a year because I saw the horror stories about building it, and I knew if I tried to, I would just smash it. And then for Father's Day, my wife's like, "Oh, hey, what would you really want?" And I fucking picked up the box and handed it to her. I said, "You build that."
It's like, you don't need to pay for anything.
Yeah, you don't have to
All
buy
you
me anything. You don't have to
time.
blow me nothing. Just build that fucking piece of shit that's been sitting there for a year. And she did it. Took her a few hours and a lot of curse words, but I'll never break down the style she built it in because I know how big of a cunt it is to break it down into other shit. I know other people have told me I'm a pussy and just get over it, but hey, maybe I am. But anyways, it is. It's just I like the lighting. I like how stark the lightsaber is. He probably used some natural lighting there to mimic the glow of the lightsaber on the figure, which always just adds a whole bunch of authenticity and realness to a shot. So Jedi Master Luck, definitely, he's one of those who drops a pick. It's going to catch your eye in the feed.
Yeah, so Jedi_Master_Luck on Instagram. Fantastic job. And he also has, if you go to his feed, he's got a close-up version of this shot as well. So awesome stuff. Kind of sticking with the Force or the Fallen Order theme of things, we have Force of Light, Force_of_light on Instagram with a great shot of Cal Kestis flanked by two clone troopers on the sides. I thought that was an interesting touch there.
Force of Light, if you can't tell by the name, Lizzie likes to play with light, and that's exactly what this shot showcases.
Yeah, I mean, and that's one of the primary, if you've played Fallen Order, then you know that one of the, the primary things that you do in this game is you're going along and you can find, they're called echoes, force echoes, and Cal has the ability to kind of read these, so he can interact with these things and he can see like, oh, this pot was used by a native while they were trying to save their family or something like that. So incorporating that whole force echo story device into this shot on IG really kind of made it pop for me, and Force of Light just kind of executed it perfectly. I mean, not only did she capture that force echo thing, but also using the light to illuminate the whole scene, lighting up the troopers in the background. I thought it was a really nice touch.
I mean, it's really, it is a perfect recreation of those pickups, because they're kind of like these sparkly sources of light that, it's like Cal vapes them into his system and then lets the Force essentially tell him what that memory was. And that's why you could argue the clone troopers are there. I mean, Cal could be reliving a Force memory of theirs, and Lizzie, a.k.a. Force of Light, just came and kind of showed us in a visual form what that would look like.
Yeah. I mean, it's a perfect explanation there. So I really liked it. I mean, I've been, playing Fallen Order pretty heavily, which is why we got 2 Fallen Order, pictures in the top 5 this week. But again, like, these are well executed, well thought out shots by all of the artists here. So fantastic job there by Force of Light. So moving on to our final top 5. And this is a returning top 5 member, Mr. Green is Yellow, bringing out the Rampo with just a like, I would never think that, to say this, but this is a visceral C-3PO shot. Like, he's fucking got stormtroopers laying at his feet.
Green is Yellow
one up
has
by the throat.
Perfected the Rampo pose to where it honestly looks like he's probably using his arm and upper arm as a vice grip, with his gears just squishing the guy's neck because he is a robot. He doesn't look like C-3PO. He looks like a murder bot. Yeah, that's hard to do with these motherfuckers because they are bots. They don't really bend well. But Green is Yellow got this dude to look like he is lethally choking out a First Order trooper while one arm holding a bowcaster blasting fools.
Yeah, and I mean, just the little details in this make it great. I mean, like you mentioned, this, you can see the grip that he has with his hand on the neck, the red eyes, so that this is, post whatever happens to C-3PO and TROS, and just, the litany of bodies that are at his feet. Yeah. I mean, it's really cool. And then the original caption that he's got on here, "Bring me Kylo." It's fucking fantastic. So I just I really
let the bodies hit the floor, and that's exactly what Rampo's doing here. One of the best Rampos to date.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed this. Green is Yellow, all one word on Instagram. I just thought it was a super fun shot, and it allowed me, Force of Light and Green It's Yellow allowed me to put some bucket heads back in the top 5 because last week we didn't have any.
He was going into withdrawals. I saw him shaking in a corner in the fetal position.
I had to get him back. I had to get him back in there. But that's it. That's all the top 5 for this week.
You know what? It's almost perfect timing to lead me or my alter ego at Haywood Pop into tonight's Toy Pops 3 photo sharing session. Woo! Yay! I'll get some likes on my pictures. Yay! All right, my friends. So hopefully you enjoyed our discussions today on all things Star Wars. And if you did, make sure to get your happy asses over to StarWarsTime.net. Why, you may ask? Well, if you're new, that's where you can easily find all the platforms you can subscribe to our podcast. I'm talking TuneIn, Android, Stitcher. If you want to buy email, we can give it to you by email. If you want to buy RSS feed, we can do that too. So you can get all those details on StarWarsTime.net, which is also where you can find our other social platforms, but in particular, YouTube. That's right, we keep YouTube nice and updated. Weekly at that, multiple videos, Resistance, Mando, speculations on TROS. You never know what you're going to get. So, sub up, share it away, like something, and do a little dance, right? There's always time for Star Wars time. You got to help your bros out. The best way to do that is to sub, like, rate, review, rinse, and repeat, and then pass it on to a friend. Remember, it's like giving them STDs, but they're cool, right? SWTS instead of STDs. You guys get the picture. There's always time for Star Wars time, and we're not kidding. And remember, if you listen to the Star Wars Time Show podcast, the Force will be with you always.